brought me to this country, okay, with lies.
I have been amazing. You don't appreciate anything.
No, you brought me
That's
here.
the problem.
You're the biggest scammer in the world.
Gino doesn't know about Matt because I know he's gonna think that it's more than a friendship. I never done anything with him, nothing.
Jasmine and Gino attempt to play nice for all of 2 seconds, and if it wasn't obvious to you guys before, it is obvious now that they are holding on for dear life just for a TLC paycheck. Because love does not live here. Honey, the producers are laying down the groundwork for them to remain in the franchise with or without each other, because we just heard Jasmine's new man's voice for the first time. Y'all, it is about to get messy. Let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome back to Nikki Faces Reality. We are here to discuss Jasmine and Gino in the latest episode of The Last Resort. You guys, if you are chronically on the internet, you know that Jasmine and Gino are not together. It is so obvious. At this point, we're just keeping up with their story to see what ultimately led to them pulling the plug. It's honestly just one of those train wrecks that you can't look away from. Trust me, I've tried. We're gonna jump straight into it. As always, before we do, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for being here. And let's jump straight in. We are in Arizona. We are at this lovely resort. And Jasmine and Gino are doing something that I feel like is a routine for them. They debrief on their latest fiasco, their fight that they had the night before. Gino's like, you know, there was a lot of name calling. I shouldn't have done that. And she's like, she fixes her lips to say that she didn't tell Gino where she disappeared to the 3 days because they were in a fight. You don't do that to anybody. And if Gino did that to her, like I said, she would have burned his house down. She gives this bogus excuse that like she slept at a mutual friend's house. A friend is probably covering for her. She was definitely at Matt's house, and we'll uncover more of that later. Gino is not as goofy as he looks, but I think that he wants to believe this in this moment. But I think in his heart of hearts, he knows. And so, before they head off to do their group activity, Jasmine is like, can we just be nice to each other in front of people? And I just think that is so funny. Not funny haha, funny weird. Because when they got there, Gino was the one that was like, let's be nice to each other. And she was like, no, this is a safe space. I'm going to tell my truth. It's really funny to me that she changes her tune when Gino has exposed her for doing her dirt. And she's like, oh, well, now that I look bad, let's keep it cute. So they're getting driven off to the desert. Jasmine is freaking out because it's the middle of nowhere with this dysfunctional group of people. She's already like, oh, well, if we get stuck there, I'm going to eat Benny. One thing about Jasmine, she's going to give you a soundbite. But they get to this desert, and the activity is called Compromise Canyon. So they have to have a rock in their backpack, and they have to write on it what they desperately desire and what they hope that they can work through in this activity. They have like a mile trail, and they are paired off with Natalie and Josh. So they're hiking, and they reach their pit stop, and that's where Jasmine pulls out her rock, and Jasmine says that she wants independence. And it's funny to me because I feel like if you disappeared for 3 days, you have an abundance of independence. She says she feels unhappy, she feels undervalued, she doesn't feel like, you know, Gino is really supporting her. And Gino's listening and he's like, Gino is listening to this and he's like, support. Support is what you want. Because I'm pretty sure I've given you financial support, emotional support since you were in Panama and now taking care of you when you're in Michigan. And here's the thing, say what you want about Gino. I understand that it is annoying to constantly have to have this like tug of war of like, can you please do this because he's so cheap? But even though he is cheap, Jasmine has always gotten her way. I think the most that she's had to like fight on, and it's recently, is with the whole physical thing. And I just think that he's not into her. They're not in a good spot. She yells at him. She berates him. He's not in a space where he can do that with her. But everything else... And so she says that she thought that she would get her green card and that would like bring her independence back, but if anything, she feels stuck in the same spot. And I'm confused as to why that is, because now she can work, she can make her own money. If she wants a license, she can go get that. Like, there are things that she can do. Of course, like, she'll need some help from Gino. But honestly, if Gino's not helping you, it sounds like you have a whole crew of friends where you're disappearing to for 3 days that could support you with that. I do agree that Gino is wrong for not offering more support. I think that it's the whole thing. She mentioned before that she's like, oh, like he complains when it's time to take me to the gym and things like that. So if he's dragging his feet to take her to these appointments, that's not okay on Gino. He needs to do better. He brought her here. Totally. And so she's like, I need a car. But it doesn't sound like she has her license yet. So like, maybe let's walk before we run. And Gino's like, yeah, I understand you need a car, but I can't afford it. She doesn't say, oh, I know you have the money, you're just being cheap. No, she just drags him like there's always something. He can never just like say yes to her. And I'm just like, girl, and you're surprised that he's not touching you? And they have this yelling match, you guys. And she's basically like, you brought me here and you bamboozled me. You are the biggest scammer there is. And that's pretty bold coming from her. But also, you guys, let's reel it in. Cost of living in Panama, I imagine, is much different than it is in Michigan. And Gino had her living the luxe life in Panama, okay? She was living large. She had all her expenses. And I understand some of you are going to be like, well, he met her in a sugar baby site. Like, isn't that what he signed up for? I'm just stating some facts. She was living large, okay? If she wanted $150 packs of hair extensions, she got it. If she wanted to take her dog to a nice little spa, she got it. She wanted to live in the same luxury building as her ex, she got it. She wanted butt implants, partially from Gino, she got it. Botox, the works, money for her family, money for her mom, money for her kids, anything. Gino was putting it down. Even if it took a few fights to get him to side with you, he always did. Meanwhile, over at the ranch, while she's living large in Panama on his dime, this guy is eating frozen dinners. His toilet has crust. His toes are jammed. I'm not saying he deserves it. I'm not saying this is her karma. I'm just saying the chicken has come to roost. They're both getting a rude awakening. So much for having a nice day. You know what I'm saying? And y'all, I was cracking up when Gino was like, just put your rock in your bag and let's go. He's like, this isn't getting solved, obviously. Like, I'm done. And the next time that we see these two have a one-on-one together is back in their room. They're showered, they're freshened up. I'm guessing it's the next day. Gino probably slept on the couch because Jasmine comes out and she's like, oh, you made your bed. And there's just like such a sinister little smile. Like, this man is older. He should not be sleeping on a couch. Honestly, if I were him, I'd have been like, production, get me a room. I'm not going to continue sleeping uncomfortably. But they have this talk and she's like, our intimacy is like, it's worse. I wonder why. But it's not just all Gino. And I do think that there's some things that he needs to work through. I think that he's not being fully honest. I know that there are people that think that he has a corn addiction, and she believes this too. And like, I don't think that it's just that. I really do think that it's the way that she talks to him, the environment they have, like it's very hostile. I think it's a combination of both. And it doesn't help that he gets really defensive when she brings it up. But I think for him, it's also like, you keep downplaying your role in this. And I think that's important to note because she also is like, I haven't touched you, like I haven't attempted to kiss you, like I haven't attempted to hug you. And she says that she stopped, taking those initiatives because he rejects her. So honestly, at this point, they're triggering each other so hard that they're just going round and round. And at this point, I'm like, someone needs to get off this merry-go-round. Like, aren't y'all dizzy? Aren't y'all tired? He tells her the same things that he has said before. He's like, I can't just jump into intimacy. Like, there's no like softness between us. There's no like build up. But Gino puts his foot in his mouth where he's like, everyone here has a kind wife except me. That's not what you say. And here's the thing. Jasmine is queen of insulting him at every opportunity. But he initiated it this time. There was no need to say that. No need for that. And she's like, Gino, you always insult me. You always do this. If you guys kept up with the last season that they were on, I said that Gino should have came with this energy from the start anytime she would pull up with these antics. I feel like he has so much anger in him that he's held in all these years that now when they're married, he gives her no grace. I feel like sometimes he doesn't even think about it. Like a shot will come out because he's just so angry. And you could see that she was taken aback by that comment. And so while I understand why he has said anger, why he has this animosity, I always feel like his jabs are either ill-timed or don't match the crime. Like he comes in hot. So she storms off and he's like, she's a psycho. That's what she is. And we see that Jasmine immediately runs out and calls Matt. Who's Matt? Well, if you are chronically on the internet, you know that Matt is allegedly her new man. And the way that it started coming up on social media is that Jasmine was very obviously not in Gino's home. She was in this new setting and you would hear a man's voice and it was not Gino. She would never show his face, but you would see that they would be together in the supermarket. They would be together in the car. They would be together in the home. Always this presence. And the internet FBIs found him. And I remember Kiki and Kibitz covering this, also moving mad. And we saw his face. And I just want to say that this is genius work on behalf of TLC and Sharp Entertainment. Such a smart move to soft launch her man as a supportive friend, laying the groundwork, making us feel familiar with him and their relationship before they hard launch, that they have fallen in love, that it's like friends to lovers. You guys, no one can convince me that she hasn't been with this guy for much longer. This guy does not hide the fact that he's not a fan of Gino. There's a moment where he's like, work it out, you guys need therapy. But honestly, I don't think he understands that there's hundreds of guys that are waiting to replace him, basically. And the producers ask her if Gino knows about Matt. And she's like, no, Gino doesn't know about Matt because if he knew, he would think that there's more and there's never been more. Here's the thing. A few things. This is hypocritical AF. If Gino had any female friends that Jasmine didn't know about, we wouldn't hear the end of it. That's one. Two, how many times were you going to the gym? Because if you met him at the gym and this is your bestie, how many times were you trying to go that you were trying to make poor Gino drive you? Also, she's talking about him like he's her best friend since she got to America. You don't think that that's someone that your husband should know about unless you're hiding something? And it's just funny because if social media hadn't exposed Jasmine, I would be like, wow, I believe this telenovela. Oh my God, she has this supportive friend. Also, you guys, I believe Kiki and Kibitz pulled up that this guy, Matt, is an actor. So being on 90 Day Fiance, that is seen by millions. So yeah, he's an actor. She's a reality TV star. It's honestly chaotic heaven. And I believe Kiki and Kibitz posted a clip. They're filming The Single Life. Both Gino and Jasmine are filming The Single Life as singles, and Matt is making appearances. There's some blurry footage of them having this blow up fight. So yeah, honestly, it doesn't surprise me that he would be down for this ride. Honestly, all of this is so messy, so juicy. I don't wish it on you. I don't wish it on me. But if it's on our TV, we will be watching. I would love to hear your thoughts on this, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.